back, guys. Welcome back. Trying out
I'm
something.
excited to announce that we're having our first ever mega sale on overstock clearance and brand new products. For example, save over 50% on this season's flannel sheets. Queen size only $59.98. Kings only $69.98. They sell out fast every year, so order now. Save 20% on our brand new My Crosses. They're designed in the likeness of the one I've worn every day for over 20 years. They come in men's and women's, and they're made right here in the USA. Get our 2025 six-piece My Towel sets for only $29.98. Our initial quantities are extremely low, so get them now before they go. And our best-selling standard My Pillows, just $14.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use this promo code to take advantage of our first ever mega sale. But wait, remember that $75 free shipping rule? Well, that ship is sailed because right now, every order ships absolutely free. I'm excited to announce that we're having our first ever mega sale on overstock clearance and brand new products. For example, save over 50% on this season's flannel sheets. Queen size only $59.98. Kings only $69.98. They sell out fast every year, so order now. Save 20% on our brand new My Crosses. They're designed in the likeness of the one I've worn every day for over 20 years. They come in men's and women's, and they're made right here in the USA. Get our 2025 six-piece My Towel sets for only $29.98. Our initial quantities are extremely low, so get them now before they go. And our best-selling standard My Pillows, just $14.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use this promo code to take advantage of our first ever mega sale. But wait, remember that $75 free shipping rule? Well, that ship is sailed because right now, every order ships absolutely free. I'm excited to...
Welcome back, guys. Welcome back. Thank you for tuning in here. Hope you're having a good Friday evening. Welcome. Make sure we have audio. Yes, we do. We are good. Back on the Rumble Studio. I think we figured out some stuff. It is not fun to use, and it is not user friendly. All the money and them bragging about having people on there. Do something. Man, so hope you're having a good Friday. It is Valentine's Day. I hope you didn't miss the earlier show. If you would share this out, let me pull this up so I can actually I can see your comments right here in the live chat. Let's see, we got Rockstar. What's up, brother? Trina G, Rob Wallace. Man, we got some stuff to talk about today. Some updates, some things going on. We got a J6 political prisoner that was released. So we're going to be talking about that and some other stuff. Let's see who else is jumping in here. Hear you 5x5. Sounds great. Rob Wallace says, yeah, it's, I don't know. You know what was weird? Just to give you guys a thing. I'm on an Apple and I was using Safari. And I've had some issues with Safari before when it comes to streaming. And I actually use Google or whatever this Chrome to stream when we're using StreamYard. So I just went and moved over to Google Chrome and played with some buttons, and it's worked. I did a private live stream just to test it out. Did it for like 20 minutes, and we're good to go. So Nola, what's up? Thank you guys. Newfie guy, hello. It is Friday. It is 4:41 over here on the left coast. You know what? I have a one that I didn't share with you earlier when it comes to the Valentine's Day card. So I figured I would do it today or do it now since we're back live again. Let me pull this over. It says, you take my breath away. To and from, you got Fentanyl Floyd on there. And they're just coming up with all kind of crazies today. The internet is wild. The internet is beyond wild. Also, earlier, we shared a Valentine's Day card. And it had to do with Trump. He's making headlines because now twice he's told the reporter that has a very heavy accent that I can't understand you. And people, oh, that's racist. Like somehow he's supposed to understand them. And I just thought this was crazy. Trump now has this video you're going to laugh at. He literally has an Indian translator to interpret other Indians asking him questions in English. Take a look at this. This is hilarious.
So what is your
I love this.
Say about the Bangladesh issue, because we saw and it is evident that how the deep state of United States was involved to regime change during the Biden administration. Then Muhammad Yunus made Junior Soros also. So what is your point of view about the Bangladesh?
And what is the role that the deep state played in the situation in Bangladesh?
Well, there was no role for our deep state. It was,
He didn't have a
this is
problem
something
there. He got a translator now. And that's just so funny because the Indian guy's speaking in English. But it's just great. I'm going to show you all again. This is hilarious.
Bangladesh issue, because we saw and it is evident that how the deep state of United States was involved to regime change during the Biden administration. Then Muhammad Yunus made Junior Soros also. So what is your point of view about the Bangladesh?
And what is the role that the deep state played in the situation in Bangladesh?
So a translator for broken English, I guess you could say. Dawn, enjoy your day at work. We got Karen Sunflower in the room. So we're gonna see. We think we figured out 70% of this issue when it comes to the audio with both. So pray, say a prayer, and let's move on from there and show you what else we have in store for you. Leave it to Philadelphia Eagles fans. They were expecting about 1 million people for their parade. And it says multiple people have been shot during the Eagles Super Bowl celebration parade during a dispute. At this time, numerous police officers are on the scene after a shooting during the Eagles Super Bowl celebration parade, where hundreds of thousands of fans have gathered to celebrate. Authorities report that at least 3 people have been shot following a dispute, though details on what led to the altercation and the victim's condition have not yet been released. Police are actively searching for a suspect wearing a gray Eagles jersey. That'll be easy to find, right? You're at a celebration parade for the Eagles, and you're looking for the guy in the Eagles gear. Here's this video here. I don't know how much this shows.
We're getting really, we're starting to we're going on that.
That was a misleading video. But also that same person posted some stuff that was false about the DC Gulag on January 20th or 21st. So, but yeah, so there's reports of a shooting, 3 people shot, looking for a suspect wearing Eagles gear. Oh, did I not transition it? You guys didn't miss anything. That was my fault for not transitioning it. We got the grifter, Ronna McDaniel. How many were glad that she was gone? I want, this was a post that she made and has since been deleting. It looks like she wants to be like Hawk Tua girl with the crypto coin or whatever they call that stuff, the meme coins. Check this out. This tweet has been deleted now. It says, had a meeting with real Donald Trump about the future of digital finance in the U.S. His vision for our country as a leader in the digital world is solid and promising. That's why I have decided to release Patriot. Contract, it gives a contract number, and it says MCGA, which means make crypto great again. This was deleted. Let me see if there's any updates to this. But literally trying to push a coin when she was a pretty big reason why the Republicans party sucks so bad. Let's see. Yeah, I can show you here that this tweet is gone now. Yeah. That's gone now. But if you think about that for a second, let me see if I can pull it back up. That's the grift now, I guess. That's the grift. Had a meeting with real Donald Trump. Listen, we need to separate ourselves from anybody that's been part of the Rhino delegation. You guys know the Paul Ryans, all those folks that we can't stand. Even people hate when I say this, Kevin McCarthy. All those folks need to go. I don't care what you can do in your fundraising, Kevin. I don't care who you can bring along with you. There is a new Republican Party. It is the MAGA Party. And as you can see, it's much different than any party you've ever had before. I mean, things are actually getting done. We're going to talk about that too with the EPA, Lee Zeldin finding, I think it was $1.9 billion, folks. This is what it's all about. And earlier we showed you a poll about how it was between 18 and 40-year-olds, and it was conservative, independent, and Democrat in this poll, and which one had felt that their life was fulfilled, like they had a fulfilling life. And of course, liberals were down there at something like 12%. Then I see this other poll that was just floating around. It's been around since 2020. Has a doctor or healthcare provider ever told you that you have a mental health condition? And I want to show you the difference here in this poll. So there you have. Why is it not? Hold on. That's what you meant. I thought I messed up. Man, am I losing it? That's what I hate about this. Now we're good, right? Now we're good. Let's see. Okay, there we go. We'll go back and I'll show you the last one from Rona. Has a doctor or healthcare provider ever told you that you have a mental health condition? If you look at conservatives that are pretty much 30 to 49 and younger, it was like 22%. Moderates, women were much higher than men, and it was at 32%. Go over to liberals, higher than 50% between 18 and 29. I think that goes along with the protest we see and what's going on, to be honest with you. Let me make sure we still got audio now that we did that. I'm pretty sure we do. I can't wait until this is all set up and fixed. Yes, we're good. We're good. So it kind of goes along with what we said. We're saying again, conservative people are more happy. I think, and no, not every conservative believes in God. There's diehard Trumpers that aren't religious, that have no faith in their Lord and Savior. But for the most part, I think the way they live their lives and how they go about their lives and their principles of their life make them happier. In fact, let me go back to this one right here. Here is that tweet with Rona, just to show you. Rona McDaniel had a meeting with real Donald Trump about the future of digital finance in the U.S. His vision for our country as a leader in the digital world is solid and promising. That's why I have decided to release $Patriot. Obviously, she deleted the tweet. Obviously, people are going to call her out for what it is, and that is a grifter. Check this out. This looks like I've been seeing this a little bit. This is a picture or a video of President Trump, and he stopped to thank the Marines before boarding Air Force One at Joint Base Andrews. And look at what he does. Tell me if you guys see this. Well, you can't see it if it doesn't play. I hate when it does this. This is like, this frustration is getting to a level. I need a vacation. So if you take a look here, you see something in his hands right there. And he goes over and he slips it in his hand. Many are saying that is a presidential challenge coin, very similar to the one that we got from Eli Crane that Sansia won in a raffle, which I wonder if she got it today. But that's pretty cool. The president of the United States, such a big difference between him and Joe Biden. It's just a breath of fresh air. Now listen to this clip with Elon Trump and Sean Hannity. Many of you might have seen it. Many of you might have not. Take a listen to this, and it's just hilarious because the left has tried to divide the right numerous times, especially after the election win, with all the propaganda and everything
Elon
else.
Musk, for example.
Take a look at this.
Both aware, you have to be keenly aware that the media and the punditry class, not that, I think you've proven they have no power anymore because they threw everything they had at you and they didn't win. And that was, the New York Times, Washington Post, 3 networks, every late night comedy show, 2 cable channels. They just threw everything, lawfare, weaponization.
Sure.
And now I see they want you two to start, they want a divorce. They want you two to start hating each other. And they try, President Elon Musk, for example. You do know that they're doing that to you.
Oh, I see it all the time. They tried it, then they stopped. That wasn't. They have many different things of hatred. Actually, Elon called me. He said, they're trying to drive us apart. I said, absolutely. They said, we have breaking news. Donald Trump has ceded control of the presidency to Elon Musk. President Musk will be attending a cabinet meeting tonight at 8 o'clock. And I say, It's just so obvious. They're so bad at it. I used to think they were good at it. They're actually bad at it, because if they were good at it, I'd never be president. Because I think nobody in history has ever gotten more bad publicity than me. I could do the greatest things. I get 98% bad publicity. I could do, outside of you and a few of your very good friends, it's like the craziest thing. But you know what I have learned, Elon? The people are smart. They get it.
Yeah, they do, actually.
They get it. They really see.
So I think that's interesting because we've talked about that for a long time. The people did not get it. The people, even people that don't watch conservative podcasts, even conservative news. I think there's water cooler talk at a lot of offices. I think there's people out there that, especially parents and stuff, that when they go out and their kids playing t-ball or baseball or soccer or whatever, they have those gatherings of the parents while the kids are practicing and people are talking. And a lot of times conservatives are proud of what they've done. Like, I don't think, and in some liberal areas you might have this, but I don't think you go, oh my God, if you're a liberal, you don't go, oh my God, they're letting men in women's restrooms. It's quite the opposite. You get a conservative parent or just a parent with common sense, and they're like, did you hear they're letting boys in our little girls' locker rooms? What? And then that's what gets people, they don't believe it. But once they start looking into it, and again, the people are smarter than that. And like I said, the Democrat Party is doubling down on the same thing that lost them every swing state and even the popular vote. Trump got the popular vote, and that's just incredible. I think that we are seeing a big shift in the country where we're going. Promises made, promises kept, and I think it's just absolutely great. Take a look at this right here. It says, I'll put it up on the screen here. $1.9 billion of HUD money was just recovered after being misplaced during the Biden administration due to a broken process. These funds were earmarked for the Administration of Financial Services, but were no longer needed. Secretary Turner and DOJ worked together to fix this issue and de-obligated the funds, which are now available for other use by the Treasury. And here's all that paperwork that they share on this. We were literally where we were at and where we're going. 1.9 billion, just forgotten about, misplaced, going to be used for something not appropriate. We don't know, but what we do know is that $1.9 million is going back to the Treasury. to go now under Donald Trump's administration, something that will work, something that goes and benefits the American people. So I think that is great. That is classic. And we're going to see what else. Now, this one, you remember what Kash Patel said? Said, if you put me as FBI director on day one, I'm closing down the FBI headquarters and I'm turning it into a museum. And we joked around and we said, well, you know what? If Trump truly follows through on his promises, which we've seen with all these layoffs, all these bureaucrats and everything else, Washington, D.C. is going to be a ghost town. Then I seen this post. It's already starting to happen. I don't know if you guys can see this as good as me, but take a look at that. These are all the listings around DC. Everything with blue around it. I wonder if it'll let me. It won't let me zoom in. Let's see. No, it won't. It's zooming in the background. But so if you go through here, all these green are coming soon and all the blue are new listings. This is DC right here, guys. Right here where my arrow is, that's where the Capitol is. Right over here is Washington, or where the White House is. Look at all of these. This is going to drive down the cost of housing in Washington, D.C., and again, it's going to be a ghost town. They said it wasn't going to happen. They said this was impossible. But a lot of these folks, they've been offered a buyout. Some folks took the buyout. The other ones know that they have nothing, not a leg to stand on the history of their work performance. So they're going to be cutting. I think there was a thing today that mass layoffs for the IRS. Donald Trump has ordered mass layoffs in the IRS. And you know what immediately Democrats do? Now, I wasn't surprised when Democrats started defending the IRS. Hey, if that is something you want to stand on and that is a defense you think you can sell to the American people, go for it. But now they got to throw in a scare tactic as well. Now you just won't get your refund soon enough. Well, as long as you get it, right? I mean, they don't have this money now. It's not a loan. It's actually their money that was given to the government through a loan that was interest-free. So maybe we just do something a little different with taxes. Maybe we lower those taxes so we don't have to worry about paying in so much. It's just crazy what we're watching here, but I think that is amazing, guys. Look at all that. The green is coming soon. The blue is all new. And it is amazing. See, the outskirt one, 1.95 million, 1.2. I guarantee we're going to keep an eye on this. I'm going to put a tab up to keep an eye on this. And in about 4 weeks, there's going to be more. And you're going to see these listings go down. It's going to say was 999,000, now 929,000. Because when you have this, again, the market supply and demand, when you have an overwhelming amount of supply and you don't have a demand, because who's going to want to go into DC now? They're shutting down all these left-wing departments. They're letting employees go. These people, there's nothing in DC but government. So that's good news. Good news that that's happening down there. Yesterday we played this and we're going to follow up on this. I guess they're not too happy about it. Or at least not proud enough to answer questions. Listen to
include
this.
Sperm donation, sponsored by Democratic State Representatives Anita Somani and OBGYN from Dublin and Tristan Rader of Lakewood.
The whole entire point of this bill is to call out the hypocrisy of particularly the state legislature when they bring forward bills to regulate women's bodies.
Now, there are exceptions to the proposed law, which include sperm donation, contraception, and members of the LGBTQ community. Men face a maximum $10,000 fine after the third offense if they have sex with a woman without the intention of conceiving a child.
Men have the same rights no matter where they go in the country. Women have rights based on where they live.
It just misses the most basic biological facts and leans in towards middle school humor.
Austin Beigel with End Abortion Ohio calls the proposal disrespectful to the pro-life community and a waste of state resources.
They have to review it when they file it. They're going to have to stick a legal team on it, wasting time on that and delaying other bills that are trying to be reviewed as well.
ABC6 asking viewers about the proposal in an online poll. 26% said it's a good idea. 74% telling us it's a waste of time.
This may be considered a waste of money by some people, but we have had far bigger misuse of taxpayer money in bills that have been proposed and passed.
The final draft still being written. The proposed legislation will get a hearing after it's submitted. But with a Republican-controlled legislature, the bill not expected to go anywhere.
That is funny. That is, but that wasn't the greatest part. I don't think they're very proud of this bill. I think they're the laughing stock. And I think this reporter did a great job with Ohio News. It's real Ohio News. Watch this.
Do you care to Ohio.news? I'd like to know if you agree with your Democrat colleagues that life begins at an erection. You agree with that?
Huh? Okay, thanks.
What do you think about this new legislation, or do you agree that life begins with erections? Do you care to share with the voters your thoughts on this important issue? Rep. Grimm, you have nothing to say to your constituents about this important legislation regarding the issues of life and erections.
How's it going, sir? Where are you headed to? I'm here. Yeah.
That was all. So you have nothing on this legislation that life begins with erection? Oh my gosh, that was incredible. I got to make sure I follow that page. They only got 290 followers, man. That was great. That was great. I got to share that too when I'm done here. So California, man, we got some stuff to cover in California. We need to do a show just on California. The people that Karen Bass, the mayor of LA, hired for the rebuilding, people that have already been found guilty of fraud on other projects. We got to get through all that. But what I find interesting is that you can't make this up. The major majority, the super majority of Democrats elected here in the state of California sent a bill to Gavin Newsom that prisons are not able to work with ICE. So you have somebody, let's just say this guy's been here 2.5 years. He sexually assaulted a child. California law, he probably got 18 months and he's getting ready to get out. Democrats said, no, we're going to protect illegals over American citizens and we don't want them working with ICE. Well, it turns out Gavin Newsom vetoed that bill. It says Governor Newsom will veto California bill blocking prisons from cooperating with ICE. And I'll go ahead and read you the story here. It says Governor Gavin Newsom will veto a bill that would block his state's prison systems from cooperating with U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, his office told Fox News Digital. Assembly Bill 15 argues that when California jails and prisons voluntarily and unnecessarily transfer immigrant and refugee community members eligible for release from state or local custody to Immigration and Customs Enforcement for immigration detention and deportation purposes, they subject these community members to double punishment and further trauma. Now, I want you to listen to Democrat how they speak. They subject these community members. They're not community members. They're illegal aliens. They broke into this country. They have no right to be here. They're just getting out of jail. Guess what? We shouldn't even have fed them. We shouldn't even have gave them a piece of cement to sleep on. They're criminals. It says the Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation shall not detain on the basis of a hold request, provide an immigration authority with release date information, or respond to a notification request, transfer to an immigration authority, or facilitate or assist with a transfer request any individual who is eligible for release. That's what Democrats put forward and put on Gavin Newsom's desk. I find that just amazing. Was there another one from Cali? Yeah. We know that Democrats have destroyed California. Again, we talked yesterday. We passed Prop 36 with over 3/4 of the voters voting for it. It makes crime again. And, Newsom said it, and the Democrats said it was racist. You can't punish somebody because maybe the color of their skin is black, and that would just be racist. But this veto, again, is just more pushing. I think he's worried about the optics a little bit. So when you have California and you just had the mayor of not the mayor, I'm sorry, the governor of New York, Kathy Hochul, the person that runs the DMV department, and one other in New York, Leticia James, they just got charges from the DOJ because they are working against our federal government in order to secure our country, which the federal government has not only the job, but the authority to do. Also, we've went through and talked about insurance in California. We talked about how many of the homeowners that lost their home did not have insurance. And I'm going to tell you why they did not have insurance. And I'm not siding with the insurance companies. I just want to give you some facts. So insurance companies, again, take in so much money a month. And if an accident happens, if your house burns down, if it floods, if something like that, based on your coverage, then they'll repair your house, rebuild it, or whatever. Well, when you have a state that doesn't manage its forestation anywhere, and there's a lot of high-risk areas, and the government's not doing nothing about it, and you actually have a fire like the Creek Fire, where, again, dead trees laying around, it was all just fuel for the fire. Insurance companies look at that and look at their risk, and they're like, we can't do this. So they go to the state, which it's regulated. Insurance is regulated by the state of California. And they say, hey, with everything going on in California, we need to raise insurance rates 12%. Because now everybody has to put money into the kitty. That's what insurance is, to pay out a select few. And unfortunately, I'm in California. I got to pay for the mismanagement through my insurance company, my homeowners. I have to pay for the mismanagement of our forest and everything else. So the insurance companies went to Gavin Newsom and said, we want to raise this. And excuse me, I'm just using a generic number. They said, we need to raise insurance rates 10%. California said, nope. So the insurance company says, well, we have no choice but to drop these people. And boom, they don't have insurance now. Now, I want to show you this right here. Again, Democrat run. Let's see. California rejects State Farm request for 22% rate hike. Now, you think 22%, that is a lot of money. I don't want to be feeling the burden. But why do they have to do that? How much money do you think State Farm really has? How much money do you think they're going to have to pay out? Because, again, we didn't have our reservoirs full of water to put out the fire. We didn't have fire trucks stationed where they should have been during a high wind advisory. We didn't have the management that we've seen. And people say, well, that doesn't help anything. We literally covered that fire where they took a fire crew like miles away from the fire and started doing a fire break. And when the fire got there, it didn't move on any further, even with the winds. That's called management. That's called management. You create a fire line. You can do that all year round. I told you guys growing up, we had acreage. And I remember that's how I learned to drive a tractor at like 5 years old. Back then, the fire department would come out there, and you had to have all this brush and shrubbery 30 feet away from any structure. So I would drive, 3 paths on one side of my property, 3 paths on the other side, and we were good. Why did they make us do that? Because if a fire started in another field, it would have just came all the way across and got our house. It says the insurance commissioner, they put this up on the board. It says the California Insurance Company Commissioner on Friday rejected State Farm's request for a temporary 22% rate hike for homeowner policies as the company deals with claims from the Southern California wildfire. It says what they're saying, under the strict review laid out by Proposition 103, the burden is on State Farm to show why this is needed now. State Farm has not met its burden. That's what the commissioner said. Laura has called a meeting with State Farm to address questions about the insurer's financial conditions and the proposed rate hike. This meeting is scheduled for February 26. It says all Californians know from the past 10 years that the risk of wildfire are real and growing. We have experienced firsthand ravages of a changing climate. Listen, they said changing climate. So I promise you, the climate did not empty the reservoirs. The climate did not cause, when a firefighter went up to a hydrant, climate didn't cause that fire hydrant not to produce any water. The climate's not preventing us from taking, I don't care if it's the National Guard out there and going through and cleaning up all the debris so these fires don't spread. It says the other side, State Farm, California's largest insurance company, had urged the state to approve the emergency rate hike of 22% for homeowner policies starting in May, after processing nearly 8,700 claims and paying out more than $1 billion in claims to the Los Angeles fires. So what we're going to see now, guys, is we're going to see, again, more insurance companies pull out. And it sucks that, again, this is just one of the side effects from living in a state that has a supermajority Democrats. This is horrible. These policies are going to pull out. These people, you're not going to be able to get homeowners insurance, and it's going to get worse. As we talk about wokeness, like California, I thought this was great. The governor of Oklahoma, Kevin Stitt, says his Department of Mental Health sent out a memo banning pronouns in email signatures. Think about that. No more pronouns. This is what executive order. We're getting back to normalcy. 5 employees resigned on the spot. And that's what Elon said would happen. If you make them go to work to do their job and not be social justice warriors, they'll quit. And listen to this.
The Department of Homeland Security is Oklahoma Governor Kevin Stitt, who is a fan of the work DOJ is doing and all the fraud it's uncovering. Governor, good to have you back on. Look, the Department of Education, the Democrats' argument is like, well, Oklahoma, how could you be for this? You have 20% of your education budget funded through the DOE.
Well, first off, I'm with you. I think the American people are so excited about Elon. And think about it. We have the richest man in the world, a brilliant mind, taking off from his company to help us look at this spending. The only people that are critical of this are people that are on the take, government bureaucrats, and we love it in Oklahoma. I think most of Americans are applauding it. And we're doing DOJ in Oklahoma as well. You're going to love this. Today, we banned pronouns from people's email, and I had 5 employees leave in protest. And I've been high-fiving everybody around the office today.
That's incredible. I absolutely, like, if you're that upset and you're that mentally incapable of going to work, if you have pronouns in your, good riddance. Have a nice day. Sir, the Department of Homeland Security has confirmed, though, that at least 17 cybersecurity infrastructure agency employees who worked on the mis and disinformation and whatever they want to call it, they were put on administrative leave because they're not good at their job.
Absolutely. Listen, if if the democracy, if President Trump, if the executive branch cannot look at this spending, I love what Elon said, then really we're a bureaucracy. I mean, we have a fourth leg of government that's in control. If the duly elected House, Senate, and executive branch cannot make decisions, what is this world coming to? So I applaud them. They need to be looking, and every day I get excited about what new things they're gonna find.
That is great. So he sent an email out banning pronouns and email and had 5 people resign in protest. And he laughed. He said he was going around the office high-fiving. Yes. Let these people hit the unemployment line. I already told you when we get the unemployment numbers for February, I'm actually hoping unemployment goes up 1%. You know why? Because those will be all the federal lazy employees that were just social justice workers that are now in the unemployment line. And I think that's great. I think that's great. This was interesting. 344 pounds of methamphetamine found Wednesday during a traffic stop, trafficked out of Colony Ridge in Texas. The 3 suspects are here illegally. All had been deported on at least 4 other occasions. This is why we need good, strong border security. Take a look at all those drugs. And again, we've talked about Colony Ridge. We might have to go back about Colony Ridge and what it's doing. It says one was in possession of a firearm. Thankfully, we have a state of Texas who's working really hard now. Let's see. Now we got a little something. Dominic Box, J6er, is out of prison. We still have other inmates that we need to get out that are political hostages that are in jail on related charges to J6, even though they've had a pardon. And I wanted to read this article. I want to show you it first. This is an article. That's our good friend Benjamin Martin. One real POV, and I want to read this article. This was done by The Blaze, and we're gonna get through there. If you look at those pictures of our good buddy Ben, that's when he had his grizzly bear beard, and then the one on the right is his court appearance beard. And it says some January 6ers are still being held on firearms charges, possession of explosive, and even conspiracy to kill FBI agents. It says when FBI agents searched the home of Benjamin John Martin, 46, in Madera, California, they were looking for clothing, electronics, and other evidence related to his presence at the U.S. Capitol on January 6th. Now, again, I want to read that. What did the warrant have for January 6th? It had clothing, electronics, and other devices related to his presence at the U.S. Capitol on January 6th. It says, having noticed a large safe in the garage of Martin Homes, agents obtained a separate search warrant and discovered 8 firearms, including an AR-15, a Mossberg shotgun, a Benelli 12-gauge shotgun, a Kimber 1911 handgun. Also, agents also found hundreds of rounds of ammunition. It said the FBI opened the safe using Jaza Life-type hydraulic rescue tool supplied by local authorities, a defense attorney says. It says when agents arrived to search the perimeter, they pointed their weapons at Martin's fiancee, Kara, as she opened the front door. Show me a warrant, she said, according to Martin's attorney, Brad Geyer. As I understand it, they did not have one, and the guns were pointed at her, and she heard one of the agents rack their weapon. This is not justice. It's lawfare, Geyer said. This is a terrible example of selective and vindictive prosecution that we are hoping will be interpreted by a Department of Justice that will modify its position with new leadership as being righteously covered by President Trump's pardon. Under federal law, Martin was not allowed to possess firearms because he had a local misdemeanor conviction for domestic violence, the FBI said. Police allege Martin choked his then girlfriend and dragged her back into a home where she tried to flee. Martin's fiance had sole ownership of the weapons and exclusive access to the gun safe since 2018, Geyer said. Prosecutors charged Ben in a separate California federal case under a constructive possession theory, citing a prior misdemeanor as a justification, Geyer said, due to legitimate concerns from his legal counsel about potential government retaliation against his fiancée if she testified in his defense. Ben insisted she not take the stand, and he was convicted in a bench trial. Think about that. In the days and the times that we lived in under the Biden and even the corrupt California DOJ, worried about government retaliation, Ben insisted that she not take the stand. It says, based on the 2 search warrants, the Department of Justice opened 2 criminal cases against Martin, one for his presence at the Capitol and one for weapons found in the safe in his garage. The FBI says the cases are unrelated. How can they be unrelated? The only way you had permission to get into his house is because of a January 6th search warrant that you refused to show his fiance. It says, let me move on. Martin has a similar split case, but it differs in some key respects. Court records show that FBI had Martin's residence under surveillance from April to September 2021 when he was arrested on January 6 charges. I just want to go and tell you how much of your tax dollars were wasted. He was never violent. He didn't get charged with anything violent. He got the stupid like 1512 car charge that the government ruled was an unconstitutional charge. That was the Enron charge. They had him on video holding a door open. That's all he did. Holding a door open. Even has video of him conversating with police. Am I going to go to jail if I go in there? Asking police that have the door hung open. And yet they spent, I want to know how long, I want to know if there's a way to release how long the FBI has. Probably, I don't know if they're still following us around, but I want to know how long they surveyed me after I got home. It says a high school acquaintance called an FBI tip line after allegedly spotting Martin in the news coverage at the U.S. Capitol. Pull this up here. The tipster had been following Martin on Facebook, but decided to stop because, listen to this, tell me this ain't some freaking libtard, because Martin had become increasingly political in his views. So in other words, this libtard thought that when Martin was fighting for our constitutional rights, that was a little too political. The FBI said the tipster's significant other still followed Martin on Facebook to keep an eye on him, court records said. Despite his peaceful conduct, Ben became the target of an intensive government surveillance in the months that followed, Geyer said, with authorities even using high-tech equipment to identify and monitor his fiance's gun safe in their garage. Martin, a real estate broker who is also an activist protesting local and state COVID-19 regulations that required patrons to wear masks while shopping. One grocery chain obtained a restraining order against Martin. Geyer said Martin might have been targeted in part because of his COVID activism before January 6th. And that's what I always say. They really went after a lot of folks that were a threat to them, folks that spoke out. It said Martin, a real estate broker, was also an activist protesting local and state COVID-19 regulations that required patrons to wear masks while shopping. One grocery chain obtained a restraining order against Martin. Geyer said Martin might have been a target in part because of his COVID activism. So that day, I just want to tell you a short story that I probably haven't said on live. So we went to, what is it, Wines and More or something in Fresno, and I went in there. I live streamed the protest. They ended up allowing, they called the police, but ended up allowing all the patrons without masks to go onto another register and pay for their stuff. It was showing that, hey, guess what? We can still shop without a mask. And then I was informed that the next place we were going to is Sprouts. And I was like, oh, I'm not going to Sprouts. And Ben looks at me and goes, oh, that's right, huh? At that time, Rachel was a supervisor at Sprouts. And this was at like 1:30 in the day. And Rachel had to be at work at 3. So I said, listen, I'll go in the parking lot. I'll see what's going on. If anything is crazy, I'll record and leave, but I'm not going up there. I'm not going to be part of the protest. I said, I just can't, that thing, don't shit where you eat. I wasn't going to ruin it for Rachel. Because again, it was Sprouts, and she had a lot of good friends that were coworkers there, and there was obviously libtards there too. And so I get home and Rachel's like, are they at Sprouts? And I was like, yeah. She's like, oh, great. I got to go to work. And I was like, all right, cool deal. And so she, obviously at this point, they had realized that I had live streamed the other one, but I wasn't live streaming the Sprouts ones. And so when I went in there, somebody, she said they kind of gave her a cold shoulder, and she wasn't, again, we're not NFL players. If you hire me to manage your company, I'm going to manage your company how the board or how would you want profit. I don't go to, even as MAGA as I am, I don't go to work and share my politics. Obviously, my politics obviously is part of my life, but I don't go in there and push that. And Rachel's the same way. She never talked about politics, who she was going to vote for, anything like that. And so they gave Rachel the cold shoulder, and she calls me up. She literally clocked in and went to the restroom to use the phone and calls me up. She's like, oh my God, the manager is absolutely pissed and she won't even look at me right now. I was like, oh, well, sorry for your luck. Anyways, they ended up, Ben ended up getting a cite and arrest. They said, if you don't leave, we're going to arrest you. And he says, okay. And he turned around and he put his hands behind his back. Again, civil disobedience, not hurting anybody, not affecting any other customer at that store. And then it was one of those stupid cite and arrest where he had to go to court. And I think eventually they dropped it. But again, he was a threat to the demon party, the people that were like, you get in this boxcar and you shut up. You don't say a word. So again, another reason why, who was it? Corey Ledbetter, the corrupt FBI agent out of Fresno that's done all this to him. Another one that Donald Trump needs to go after and get off that force. It said the local Fresno Bee referred to Martin as an anti-masker. Remember, if you didn't wear a mask, you were anti-masker. If you were fully immunized and didn't want an experimental jab, you were an anti-vaxxer. Remember how the left did that? And the Fresno flea was one of those. In a November headline, the newspaper also routinely referred to January 6th as an insurrection. Martin held the door on the north side of the Capitol open even after police officers smashed his hand with a baton, prosecutors said. He eventually entered the Capitol. While still outside the entrance, Martin was hit with pepper spray fired by police. On June 26, 2024, a federal court jury found Martin guilty on 6 criminal counts, including civil disorder, entering and remaining in a restricted building or grounds, disorderly and disruptive conduct in a restrictive building or grounds, disorderly conduct in a Capitol building, and parading, demonstrating, or picketing in the Capitol building. It says he was also found guilty of the controversial felony, here we go, of obstructing an official proceeding 2 days after the verdict. The U.S. Supreme Court issued landmark ruling that vastly limits the use of 1815-12C2, a white-collar crime statute designed to combat accounting fraud. The charge in Martin's case was dropped by prosecutors on October 15, 2024. On December 20th, 2024, U.S. District Judge Rudolph Contreras sentenced Martin to 13 months in prison and 4 years supervised release. The pardon proclamation signed by President Trump on January 20th, 2025, saved Martin from prison term. Martin was also sentenced to 38 months in prison on the weapon charge. In their sentencing memo in the weapons case, federal prosecutors accused Martin in engaging in domestic terrorism, Although he was not charged with any terrorism offenses, prosecutors asked for 66 months in prison. Okay, this guy's a real estate agent. He has a nice home. But because he was a conservative and an outspoken conservative, these people wanted him locked up for 66 months. This is the hypocrisy. This is the unequal justice that we talk about. It says, while maintaining that the weapons case grew from the related January 6, Martin nevertheless reported for prison sentence in late January. According to the Bureau of Prisons website, he is being held at FCI Lompoc, a low-security federal prison in Santa Barbara County, California. Martin filed a notice of appeal with the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit in the gun case. U.S. District Judge Jennifer Thurston denied his motion for bail pending the appeal. Now, this is interesting. Obviously, these appeals take years to get through before this court case is ever heard. But there's a big deal in this, and I'll tell you why. It says Judge Jennifer Thurston denied his motion for bail pending the appeal. She ruled that President Trump's pardon does not apply to Martin's weapons case because possessing weapons in California did not occur at the Capitol. Okay, so we've talked about the fruit of the poisonous tree. If you have a DOJ, a weaponized DOJ, and they get a search warrant to search your house, and they come up on other evidence for another search warrant, that all reflects back to the prosecution of J6. The political persecution of J6 was related to this, and this deal is just ridiculous. It said in his appeal, Martin is challenging the constitutionality of the federal statute barring those convicted of misdemeanor domestic violence from possessing or owning firearms. So some states, I don't think all states have this. So, and I'm just going to say more often than not, unfortunately, a lot of women lie when you're in breakups, in a relationship, and all this, and accuse you of something, and they kind of have your balls in their hands. And I'm just going to say that I've had plenty of people that worked from me that had very vindictive either girlfriends or wives, and I've seen some crazy stuff happen, like setups and stuff, so they would violate court orders. And so what this is saying, and I want you to remember what the Supreme Court ruled, that when they have been turning over cases and showing, actually citing on behalf of the Second Amendment, they are going back and saying to the time when the Constitution was written, were these people barred, or was any of this barred at that time? So you got to go back to historical reference. Did they say that a guy accused of a misdemeanor or even convicted of a misdemeanor couldn't have a gun? No, they didn't. So this will go to the Ninth Circuit. The Ninth Circuit might not do anything about it or say, no, we're not going to see it. But if this goes up to the Supreme Court, this will make a huge ruling because they're going to side on the Second Amendment. He did not use his gun in any bad way. He did not threaten people with his gun. His gun was, in fact, not involved in any crimes. So you don't have the constitutional right to take away the Second Amendment, shall not be infringed. And we've seen a couple other cases that we've talked about in this scenario. So say a huge prayer. Let's see. Say a huge prayer for Benjamin Martin. I talked to his wife the other day. They had to get my address because he was calling me from McFarland. But now in this new jail, it's a little bit rougher, a little bit more strict. And they are actually got to know all my information. Before, he just needed my name and my phone number. Now they wanted my address and some other stuff. So I gave that to his wife, and she's turning that into Ben. So we probably will hear from Ben, depending on how slow they move, this weekend or early next week. So say a prayer for Ben. Again, I'm trying to reach out. I want you to share everything you can out about Benjamin Martin. I want you to call your congressman. I want you to call your senators. I want you to call the Department of Justice. I want you to call the Attorney General of the United States, Pam Bondi, and just leave a friendly message. Hey, This is so-and-so. I'm really concerned about a pardoned J6 political prisoner who is in jail now related to J6 charges. If you would please look into the Benjamin Martin case or call me back. Just do that. Again, there's a lot going on. You've seen how much they've done in 20-something days in the White House. I know they'll get to it, but we just need to move it a little faster. I want to give a big shout out to let me see, Karen. Thank you so much for the Venmo. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate your support. This can't be done without you, and it is an absolute honor to be doing it, but a blessing that you guys donate and help us out. Want to say thank you to all you guys. I don't know if we're going to do a live this weekend. I might look tonight to see if there's any stuff going on. We might travel tomorrow or on Sunday. So please keep your notifications on. Follow on Twitter. And if you haven't followed, follow on TikTok. I'm bound to do a TikTok live and trigger the liberals either today or tomorrow. So go on there. It's at Josh Fulfer, JoshFulfer on TikTok. Give us a follow. Turn your notifications on. You guys have an absolute beautiful weekend. Enjoy your Valentine's Day. I think we're just going, it's already 5:39 here. So we're probably just going to get a snack and then go get some frozen yogurt with Caden, his favorite. So again, once again, thank you guys so much for everything. And we will see you soon. God bless.
I'm excited to announce that we're having our first ever mega sale on overstock clearance and brand new products. For example, save over 50% on this season's flannel sheets. Queen size only $59.98. Kings only $69.98. They sell out fast every year, so order now. Save 20% on our brand new My Crosses. They're designed in the likeness of the one I've worn every day for over 20 years. They come in men's and women's, and they're made right here in the USA. Get our 2025 six-piece My Towel sets for only $29.98. Our initial quantities are extremely low, so get them now before they go. And our best-selling standard My Pillows, just $14.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use this promo code to take advantage of our first ever mega sale. But wait, remember that $75 free shipping rule? Well, that ship is sailed because right now, every order ships absolutely free.